Which one do I want? I don't know. Decisions. Which one would you choose? Perhaps you're looking to invest into new monitor experience. Should you go ultra-wide or a more traditional UHD? The Kraken X61 by NZXT offers fantastic cooling with a 280mm radiator with long slim tubing for easier installation and high pressure copper cold plate. You can also customize LED through the CAM software, so get Kraken. So me having no personal experience on the UHD side of things, LG sent us their 27UD88. It's a 27-inch monitor at 3840 by 2160 resolution at 60 Hz, and it's loaded with relevant features for professionals like wide color gamut, 10-bit IPS panel, USB-C support, which is so cool, factory calibration with a nice handy report, and FreeSync support for just that extra smoother gameplay. And before we reflect on the 21:9 versus the UHD conversation, here's everything you need to know about this new LG panel, and also we have reviewed the widescreen here, so check it out. So first, I love the consistency of the design language between these two LG monitors with a curved aluminum base that supports the monitor nicely with incredibly thin bezels. There's a silver plastic housing around the monitor with an almost flush surface. It's a gorgeous looking display with impressive sharpness. Now, this being only 27 inches, we get fantastic pixel density that shows no visible pixels anywhere. And the first thing that I wanted to explore was native 4K content. And yeah, I was highly impressed. Having this type of native one-to-one pixel readout for an editor like myself is highly beneficial. There's no upscaling, there's no downscaling, just native 4K footage playback on a native 4K display. Now, you don't need to be an editor to appreciate all the detail you get out of such a panel, and you only realize how much detail there is by being super close to it, and having this native reference again may be one of the best reasons to choose UHD over a widescreen or an ultra wide screen. We have 110mm of height adjustment with portrait mode available, something ultra-wide monitors do not support, plus 23 degrees of angle adjustment. The back is covered with white plastic, it helps to lighten the monitor, and it looks super clean too, with dual HDMI 2.0, dual USB 3, one DisplayPort 1.2, a headphone jack, plus that one major selling point, USB-C, that supports 4K at 60 Hz, plus data transfer, and to power your source notebook up to 60 watts. So for example, if you plug in your MacBook that has a USB-C port, it will charge the MacBook while also allowing you to transfer USB stuff over through the monitor and also pass all that digital data too. A 1-meter USB-C cable is included, and this minimalist direction, thanks to Type-C, is so tempting. It's now just a matter of mobile devices utilizing USB Type-C more often. A few more cables are included, like HDMI, DisplayPort, and a USB pass-through, plus all your power cables. And now let's shift focus towards the conversation to compare the UHD versus 21:9, and I gotta admit that the user experience on both of these formats is completely different. So for comparison, here's the LG 34UC98. It's a 34-inch monitor that is curved. It follows in the same technical realm as the UHD monitor with the IPS 10-bit panel, a 3440 by 1440p resolution, and despite the smaller 27-inch panel having 33 more pixels, I would say productivity on the ultra-wide is better. So having two windows side by side is more comfortable. Video editors love the horizontal real estate for the timeline, and it just feels really good to shift away from the conventional 16:9 aspect. And we almost have this deceptive perception of having more screen real estate on the ultra-wide versus the 4K screen, where in reality, that's not really the case. You have more pixels on the 4K display, but it feels like you have more room to work with on the ultra-wide. Next is media consumption, and either of these have their strength and their compromises. So thin content looks amazing on the widescreen, occupying full length of the panel, but all other content leaves black bars on either side, while you also run into black bars above and below media on the 16:9 aspect that isn't native to that aspect. So one awesome advantage of most widescreen panels is the higher refresh rate due to lower resolution. So with the UC98, it's going up to 75 Hz without sacrificing on the panel quality. It's still IPS, it's still 10-bit, while the IPS UHD monitors are quite hard to find with anything above 60 Hz. Now, both of these actually support FreeSync, which is awesome. The range on the UHD panel is slightly better on the lower end, so it's going to 40 to 60 Hz, which is fine for 4K. It's a good low minimum of 40 Hz, but on the ultra-wide, it's between 59 and 75 Hz, which means your gaming experience at the lower frame rates will suffer due to such high minimum. So this is a perfect transition into gaming, and 21:9 gaming is absolutely unique. Don't be afraid by some non-supported resolution at 21:9 for certain games, because that format is becoming so popular that we'll eventually have 21:9 support resolution across the board. And so it feels amazing. Wide horizontal field of view, you see more. I had a blast doing a run through with Tomb Raider, and this was actually beneficial in Victor Rand. It's a hack and slash game where you see more of the map, and therefore you can avoid going to certain directions because of this top-down view. And that is based on my own experience with the ultra-wide panel, as some strategy games do not exactly utilize the widescreen format so well, so the menu and the UI do not exactly cooperate. And this is where UHD and having that extra vertical resolution is important for software like AutoCAD and SketchUp, since gaining that extra vertical resolution is more important than gaining that wider resolution. And we right now do not have a widescreen monitor that is 2160 pixels in the vertical resolution, so UHD is more optimal for those scenarios. UHD, on the other hand, looks incredibly sharp, provided you have the means to run at this resolution, but the real gaming drawback for me is the refresh rate. Having lived with dual 144 Hz monitors, 60 Hz on a 4K display just doesn't feel so great because everything feels a little bit too slow. Now, most ultra-wide monitors are curved, which is a positive. It sort of wraps around slightly around your vision for a positive effect, but also that skews all your lines on the screen, and why I cannot use it for editing, since I lose reference to my line composition. But the curve is awesome for everything else, while UHD is fantastic for creative work, especially with compatible 10-bit hardware. So my MacBook Pro supports 10-bit output, which means gradients and color transitions are much smoother, and the same goes for the ultra-wide. Comparing backlight bleed between the two panels, you can see that the larger monitor has some more distinct brighter spots, while our UHD monitor also has some corner bleed, but it looks smoother. And so this battle between 21:9 versus UHD format is quite vague, because both of these monitors serve their unique purpose. I, for one, absolutely love 21:9 for gaming. You have a nice wide field of view without compromising on the quality, and general productivity too, because I feel like I have more space on the screen. Ultra-wide has also made me explore the depth of the internet for true 21:9 media, which has given me goosebumps in that consumption, and that experience alone is totally worth it. But anything curved on the screen is a big no for me, especially for anything creative, because I need my lines to be straight so that I have a good perception of my composition. And this is where the UHD monitor is, I would say, king, with fantastic detail, great resolution, even built-in aspect markers to help in some cases, while not super ideal for gaming because it's quite difficult to run at this resolution, and it's only 60 Hz. I would choose higher refresh rate over high resolution any day, and 99% of the media that we consume is still presented in the 16:9 aspect, which means this UHD format is a lot more enjoyable for most media, as I hate the black bars on left and right on the ultra-wide. And so if I was to choose one between these two options, I would definitely gravitate more towards the ultra-wide since it offers a bit more unique visual interaction compared to the traditional 16:9 monitor. And also a very important and for Windows users, scaling at 3440 by 1440 resolution is so much better compared to UHD resolution. Whereas with UHD, I have to scale everything to 150% to maybe 125% in order to see everything clearly without having to be super close to the screen and everything being super tiny. And in this case, you're kind of losing out on the real estate. Just everything looks a little bit sharper. But when I was running the MacBook Pro with both monitors, scaling was fantastic on both monitors without any issues. So if you are a Mac user, definitely the UHD is a much better option because scaling is so much better. And that concludes this video. I'm Dimitri with Hardware Canucks. Thanks so much for watching. Which one would you choose, ultra widescreen or UHD? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll see you in the next video.